just off on a nice Sunday dog walk. We got MA Fitness, we got TP
Fitness,
TP Scooter Fitness,
TP Lazy Fitness,
and we got our little man Milo. Milo, say hi.
say hi.
Say hi, Milo. Walk to the park.
Oh, we got some shoulder pressing going on behind.
Oh, Taylor with the OHP.
Oh, go girl.
So just want to say thank you so much for everyone who watched last week's video. Really appreciate all the positive feedback. I was actually really shocked at how many messages I got and all the love and support, so thank you very much. Today's video I am going to be showing you my pool workout, and then over the weekend I went to my friend's house for some nice food, so I might show you that. And then I'm going to talk to you about calorie counting, because a lot of you requested it. It's one of the most topics I get in my inbox, so I'll go through how you work out your calories for fat loss. So yeah, that's it from me, over and out. I'll catch you later on in the video, so bye guys.
Merry Christmas.
Can we just appreciate Chloe's cooking? What have we got here then, Chloe? We've got,
oh please don't ask me that. We've got spinach here with sesame, cumin, spice with pine nuts. Then we've got a tomato curried lentil dish. We've got a satay, obviously vegan chicken. And then here we've got a coconut and sweet turmeric chickpea and sweet potato curry. We've got some seitan, we've got some sriracha chili, pak choy, some
three different
rice,
variations of
yeah.
rice because we're all fancy.
And then we've got some chili guacamole.
Guacamole. And I'm going to have to try and exhibit portion control right now because there's also umpteen amounts of poppadoms on the table.
Dr. Evil right now? Some of you might be too young to remember Dr. Evil. I'm going to talk to you about calories today. It's specifically calorie deficit and how to calorie count and calculate your calories. So, there's loads of diets out there. Atkins, Cambridge, juice diets. There's also styles of eating like keto, high carb, low fat, high fat, intermittent fasting. There's loads. The one thing all of these diets have in common is a calorie deficit. Literally, it's as simple as that. You are burning more calories than you are consuming, and that is how you get fat loss. So the way to work this out is you first need to know your basic metabolic rate. So basic metabolic rate is what you burn at rest. So luckily for us, even if we sat in bed all day doing sweet FA, I don't know, maybe watching Game of Thrones on repeat episode after episode, not that I've ever done that, you will still burn calories, which is great. And actually most of the calories that we burn are from just being alive, just functioning on being alive. So your BMR, basic metabolic rate, shortened, you need to know that. So I've got a Fitbit. If you have a smartwatch, it might have this function as well. You basically put in your height, your age and your weight, and it will work that out for you. Estimated, obviously, but they tend to be relatively accurate. If you don't have a smartwatch that can do that for you, then you can go online and search for a BMR calculator or a calories burned calculator. If you just Google something along those lines, it will come up. I would recommend doing like 2 or 3 calculators and taking the average amount because they all might be slightly different. So once you know that, you know what you're burning led down doing nothing. And then you want to take into consideration your active calories. So someone who is a nurse doing 12-hour shifts, walking around a ward all day, is going to burn more calories on a daily basis than someone who's sat in an office job 9 till 5. And then on top of that, you need to work out your calories from exercise. So how many times a week do you exercise, what kind of exercise, and how long for? So a calculator will ask you all these questions, you can fill it in, and it will give you an estimated total overview of how many calories on average you're burning a day. My watch does it for me. So for example, on my Fitbit, I know I'm burning about 2,200 calories a day when I am walking Milo every day and going to the gym. On the days that I don't go to the gym, I still walk Milo, so I am still burning about 1,900, 1,800. On the days that I do nothing, which isn't very often, but I thoroughly enjoy it when I do, I burn about 15. So as long as I'm eating under that, then I know that I'm going to be in a deficit, and therefore I'm going to be going into my fat stores and burning fat. So you know what you're eating now. How do you then decide what calories you need to set for your goal? So 3,500 calories make up 1 pound of fat. So if you want to burn 2 pounds of fat a week, you're going to have to take off 7,000 calories from what you're eating in a 7-day period. If you want to burn a pound a week, you take off 3,500 calories off of the week. So the way that I do it at the moment, because I'm doing a pound a week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for fat loss, I think it's more a marathon than a sprint. So you can undereat like stupid amounts and you can lose weight really quickly, but you're going to bounce back. As soon as you start eating normally, you're going to start craving, you're going to start overeating, which is why fad diets don't work, but I will go into that another day because I can talk about that all day. So I knock off 500 calories from what I'm eating on a day-to-day basis. At the moment, I'm knocking off a little bit more and then having higher calories on the weekend, but that's a little bit more technical. So let's just say, for example, you burn 2,000 calories a day, you want to lose a pound a week, you're going to then eat 1,500 calories a day. So if you consistently eat 1,500 calories away a day. And I'm telling you, calories still count on weekends. So if you're doing that deficit Monday to Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday you're throwing caution to the wind and overeating, then you're not going to be in a deficit. Your body doesn't work on a day-to-day basis. It's like over the course of a week. It takes time for the scales to reflect what you're doing. So it will catch up with you, trust me. So let's say you do that and you're nicely losing weight, £1 a week, happy days. If you're losing more or less, then you kind of know that what you've calculated isn't 100% accurate. If you're losing £2 a week and you only wanted to lose £1 a week, then you can up that a little bit. So start eating 16 or 1700 calories a day. Recalculate it based on like how you think you're doing. It's a little bit mathy, but it works, okay? So how do you then structure your diet? What do you do? So the way that I explain it is you could eat, so 1500 calories a day is your goal. You could get those 1500 calories from McDonald's and chocolate and sweets, or you can get them from healthy whole foods. So this is something called flexible dieting, which I am a massive advocate for, because life without chocolate, it's not a life that I want to lead, to be honest with you. And it gets you out of that frame of mind of you've had a chocolate bar, oh, throw caution to the wind, I fucked up my diet, I'm just going to have a binge. Because you can have these things. It's all about calories in versus calories out. So if you know that you've got 1500 calories and you have a 200 calorie chocolate bar, you've got 1300 calories to then go and get your healthy whole foods in, your vegetables, your micronutrients. You don't have to throw caution to the wind and just give up on your diet and think that you failed, because you haven't. It's okay to have treats. The goal is not to just cut out everything that we like. The goal is to eat in a calorie deficit, however you may do that. Granted, if you only ate McDonald's and chocolate and sweets, you're going to feel like shit. So I always recommend like an 80%, 20% rule. So 80% of your foods are healthy, whole foods, full of nutrients, and 20% is what you fancy. So say you're doing that. How do you track those calories? So this is what puts a lot of people off, because they don't want to do it. Download MyFitnessPal, or if there's another fitness calorie counting app that you can use that. I like MyFitnessPal because it's got a huge database of meals on there and you can scan labels. So if I'm making a meal, I get my little scales out, for example. I put my bowl on. So let's say I'm making a chilli. So I'll put my 100 grams of mince in, scan the packet, put it in MyFitnessPal. Put my 150 grams of sauce in, scan the jar, put it in MyFitnessPal. The seasoning that I use, I don't really need to track, to be honest. It's probably like 10 calories if I wanted to be really anal, but I'm not too worried about things like that at the moment. And then I'll put 40 grams of peas in, and some onion, and just weigh it all in the bowl. Happy days. Then I will, and kidney beans, let's not forget kidney beans. So then I know I've put those calories in, I'm going to chuck it in the pan, I'm going to start cooking it. I'm then going to take out my microwave packet of cauliflower rice, scan that, chuck it in the microwave, that's now cooking. I know what I'm having. I look at my calories and think, actually, that's quite a low calorie meal. I could add some cheese on if I want. So I'll work out sort of what I'm having for the day and know that I can have 30 grams of cheese. So sprinkle the cheese on top, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, happy days. You know what you're eating. Say, for example, you are going out for a meal. You're gonna have to just learn to guess, okay? So I always overestimate rather than underestimate. If you go out for a meal and you order, for example, a chicken salad, chicken breast, you can get a generic chicken breast. As time goes on, you'll start to learn to eyeball things. So I know, I mean, I don't eat chicken anymore, but from when I did for years and years, I can tell you if it's 100 gram chicken breast or 130 gram chicken breast by looking at it. And you will get to know those things. So I'll put in like, so if most of the salad is like generic lettuce, tomato, cucumber, onion, I'll put in a generic salad. And I roughly know what that is from tracking for so many years. And then the sauce, depending what sauce it is, I normally would say ask for the dressing on the side, so you can sort of eyeball how much it is, so 2 tablespoons for example, and you can learn to build it up like that. You don't have to track calories forever. I only track calories when I've got a goal. In my day-to-day life, I don't track calories. I know, like, most of us are creatures of habit, and we will eat the same kinds of food. So like most people will rotate the same meals. So because I've been making them and tracking them for so long, I just eyeball everything and I'll know, like my chilli for example, what 100 grams of mince looks like, what 150 grams of sauce looks like, what 40 grams of peas looks like, for example. And then like I'll have the cauli rice, or like, you know, if I'm not dieting, I'll have normal rice, but I know what that is, half packet of rice. It even says it on the packet. So you start to learn to eyeball things. It is easier to eat jar sauces than track everything from scratch. So if you make a sauce from scratch, it's a little bit harder, but once you've done that, you can save it. So you can save my pasta sauce, for example, in MyFitnessPal. So you only have to calculate everything you're doing to make that sauce once, and then you can just add it in. If you're cooking for more than one person, it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass. There are definitely pitfalls to calorie counting because you can't just shove everything together, but it does work, and it does give you the flexibility of eating what you want. And if I can fit in a piece of cake or a Chelsea bun or a bar of chocolate on a diet, then to me that is like mission accomplished. I'm more likely to stick to it long term, more likely to get the results that I want, and be a lot happier with it as well, rather than cutting out everything and feeling deprived and then going off the beaten track and just thinking, sod it, I'm gonna order a Chinese and I'm gonna have like an entire tub of Ben & Jerry's. So that is calorie counting. If you want to maintain your calories, obviously you are going to be not eating in that deficit, you're going to be eating the same amount as you are burning. If you want to gain weight, which some people do want to do, then you're going to add on. So I would start by adding on 300 calories, seeing how that goes. If you're not really gaining the amount of weight that you want to be gaining, then try 4, try 5, up it slowly week by week. Same goes with taking off your calories as well. Start as high as you can, see how it goes before you drop, because you don't want to drop to like 1200 calories if you don't need to. The goal is to eat the most amount of food and lose weight at the same time. Like, is that not what we all want, really?